For years, they stood above the law, untouchable, unchallenged, and unafraid. Senators, congressmen, mayors, and government engineers sat at the heart of the nation's most ambitious public projects, holding in their hands billions meant to build bridges, schools, and roads. Yet behind the ribbon cuttings and press releases lay a darker reality. Projects that became gold mines not for the people, but for the powerful. In his latest State of the Nation address, President Ferdinand Bong Marcos Jr. pulled back the curtain, exposing the web of corruption that has long been whispered about, but rarely confronted. The revelations shook the halls of Congress and sent ripples through the provinces, naming not just contractors and DPWH officials, but threatening the very pillars of political power themselves. At the center of it all stand two figures once thought untouchable. House Speaker Martin Romualdez, the man who held Congress in an iron grip, and his right-hand ally Zaldi Ko, now scrambling to evade the intensifying heat of investigation. Alongside them are Curly Sarah Diskaya and her husband, whose intricate web of construction firms has reportedly secured over 200 billion pesos in government contracts. In Cebu, the Quirante family of Talisay City, Cebu, led by Alan Quirante, commanded a reign of influence that few dared to challenge. Through QM Builders and a network of allied firms, they dominated nearly a quarter of Cebu's flood control projects between 2022 and 2025, operating without fear of consequences that made them almost untouchable. But their empires, once fortified by wealth, power, and fear, are now beginning to crack, and soon these very figures, along with several others, may find themselves behind bars as the government's crackdown on corruption takes its course. What follows is not just a story of corruption, it is the story of power's decay, of betrayal hidden in plain sight, and of a reckoning that could finally put the so-called untouchables behind bars. Hello everyone, welcome back to Fun Fact, where truth meets awareness. If you love your country and care about what's really happening around you, make sure to hit like, share this video, and subscribe to stay informed and inspired. In this video, we shine a light on the names that were once whispered about as untouchables, titans of power who moved money with impunity, built fortunes off public projects, and believed themselves beyond accountability. Now, shocking revelations are coming to light, exposing just how deep their corruption runs. But now, they're cracking under pressure. According to estimates, as much as 1.089 trillion pesos of the government's climate-tagged funds may have been lost to corruption since 2023. Because there are so many implicated actors, from senators and congressmen to DPWH officials and mega-contractors, we'll highlight the most notorious, the wealthiest, and those whose influence is now unraveling. First up, the four senators. Once seen as untouchable, they are now under intense scrutiny, and ongoing investigations could soon send them behind bars. 1. Senator Francis Chiz Escudero. The allegation, USEC Roberto Bernardo testified that Senator Chiz Escudero received 160 million pesos in kickbacks from 4 government projects worth 800 million pesos. The money was allegedly routed through businessman Maynard Ngu, a close friend and political donor of Escudero. 2. Senator Joel Villanueva. The allegation, engineer Alcantara testified that he delivered 600 million pesos in cash to a staff member of Senator Villanueva at a rest house in Bocaue, Bulacan. Villanueva reportedly sought 1.5 billion pesos for a multi-purpose building, but only 600 million pesos was approved. To compensate for the rest, Alcantara and Bernardo arranged another DPWH project with a 150 million peso commission for Villanueva, bringing the total amount pocketed by the senator to 750 million pesos. Third, former Senator Nancy Binay.
Senator Nancy Binay. Engineer Alcantara collected 15% commitment, or about 37 million, which was turned over to me, and which I then delivered to Senator Binay at a house in Quezon City.
The allegation, Yusek Bernardo claimed that Carlene Villa, a trusted aide of Senator Nancy Binay, demanded a 15% cut from DPWH flood control projects in 2024. Alcantara said he raised 37 million pesos for this purpose, which Bernardo personally handed to Binay at her Quezon City residence. 4. Former Senator Bong Revilla Jr. The allegation, Yusek Bernardo and Alcantara testified that in 2024, Bong Revilla received about 125 million pesos, equivalent to a 25% kickback from flood control projects in Bulacan. The cash was allegedly gathered through Revilla's authorized intermediaries and delivered to his Cavite residence by Bernardo himself. Note, Senator Jinggoy Estrada is being removed from the list because the claim against him lacks merit. Although engineer Bryce Hernandez mentioned his name in connection with the 2025 budget insertion, both Yusek Bernardo and Alcantara denied any transactions involving him or his staff. No verified communications, project insertions, or cash transfers were linked to Estrada.
Napapasalamat ako sa ICI sa invitasyon. Ngayong araw na to, I am ready to give my personal knowledge on the budget process. And while not a member of the bicameral conference committee, I will share any and all the information to help determine the truth and to give all the facts and information. I will be here to help in any way to speed up the resolution of the fact-finding investigation for the ICI.
So yung
Thank you very much.
what do you want me to do?
Next, the 21 congressmen under investigation now face undeniable evidence of their wrongdoing. Once super rich and untouchable, they are fully exposed, and for many, a prison cell is waiting. 1. Former Speaker of the House, Martin Romualdez. Allegation: Romualdez is alleged to be the mastermind behind widespread corruption in Congress, controlling budget insertions and public works projects. He is believed to have orchestrated nearly 1 trillion pesos in corruption. In 2025 alone, he allegedly inserted 241 billion pesos into the national budget. Former security consultant Orly Guteza stated that cash-filled suitcases, called basura, were regularly delivered to addresses tied to Romualdez and his associates, coordinated by his aides. 2. Congressman Elizalde Zaldico, or Ako Bicol. Allegation: Zaldico, Romualdez's right-hand man, is alleged to have executed budget insertions and kickback schemes under Romualdez's direction. Yusek Bernardo, Alcantara, the Discayas, and other witnesses claim Zaldico received billions in kickbacks from public works projects. His company, SunWest Construction, reportedly secured over 15.7 billion pesos in flood control contracts between 2022 and 2025. Orly Guteza testified that cash-filled suitcases, or basura, were regularly delivered to Co's Valle Verde, 6 residence and BGC penthouse, often received by his executive assistants, John Paul Estrada and Mark Texay. 3. Christopher Co., former congressman for Ako Bicol. Allegation: Christopher Co., the brother of Zaldi Co., is connected to a company, SunWest, now under investigation for multi-billion peso flood control projects. SunWest was awarded 10.15 billion pesos in flood control project contracts. His role as co-owner of SunWest places him squarely in the hot seat. 4. Congressman Juan Carlos Arjo Atayde of Quezon City. Allegation: Atayde has been named by the Discaya family as involved in kickback schemes for government flood control projects. The Discayas claim he, through his father, solicited at least 10% from project funds on every contract. As expected, Atayde denies the allegations, but his unexplained wealth and lavish lifestyle have raised public suspicion. He has been criticized for flaunting multi-million peso art collections, foreign trips, mansions, and luxury resorts. Logic dictates how anyone earning only 300,000 pesos per month could possibly afford such a lifestyle. 5. Eric Buhain, former congressman of Batangas. Allegation: and one of the most blatant cases of unexplained wealth in the history of Philippine politics is Eric Buhain. In just 7 years, his net worth reportedly soared from 34.9 million pesos in 2018 to a staggering 238.7 million pesos in 2025, a shocking 584% increase. Buhain is named by Engineer Calilo as one of the Batangas politicians allegedly working in collusion with several contractors who regularly received kickbacks from DPWH projects. These are the other congressmen reportedly involved in massive kickbacks from government contracts, as named by Curly and Sarah Discaya. These are not our accusations. These are the names the Discayas presented to investigators, and the implication is stark. All of these lawmakers are now directly implicated in an organized kickback scheme. Now, moving to the DPWH officials list. These are the top-ranking figures whose names have surfaced in connection with the flood control corruption scandal. Both held powerful positions and are now under serious scrutiny for allegedly enabling and profiting from multi-billion peso anomalies. 1. Roberto Bernardo, former DPWH Undersecretary of...
I am Roberto Bernardo, formerly an Undersecretary for Operations of the Department of Public Works and Highways, DPWH.
Bernardo allegations reportedly received kickbacks from flood control projects. His daughter, Sunshine M. Bernardo, is linked to MBB Global Properties Corporation, one of the companies flagged in the scheme. 2. Manuel Bonoan, former DPWH Secretary of...
Meron pong nilabas na expose si Senator Ping Lacson na may ties po. Yung anak niyo po specifically is...
Wala po. I have to deny that.
But your daughter, sir?
Po is one of the incorporators.
No
of
po,
MBB.
no.
Pero SPC...
She's not an incorporator of global.
Of
No, of MBB. Global
sir.
She was.
She was. Hanggang kailan na yun?
I don't know. I don't know the details.
Allegations resigned amid controversies involving flood control projects. His daughter, Fatima Gay B. Dela Cruz, is listed as treasurer of MBB Global Properties Corporation, also implicated in the same corruption network. And the ever-infamous BGC Boys, a group of DPWH engineers from Bulacan, now stand at the heart of this corruption empire. Once powerful inside the agency, they are exposed as key operators in ghost projects, cash deliveries, and billion-peso kickbacks.
Unahin po natin ang mga tinaguriang BGC Boys. Sa lalim po ng inabot ng aming pagsisiyasat, sukdulang nakakarimarim na ang aming nadiskubre. DPWH officials of the Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office gained them a moniker, BGC Boys. Not Bonifacio Global City Boys, Mr. President, but rather the Bulacan Group of Contractors. Hindi tambay ng High Street sa BGC ang mga ito. Hell's Gate siguro, malulula tayo sa laki ng halagang naging talo sa kasino ng limang ito. 950 million in gross losses, Mr. President. Assistant District Engineer at OIC, District Engineer Bryce Hernandez alias Marvin Santos de Guzman, 435 million pesos. JP Mendoza alias PJ Castro Asuncion, 418 million pesos. Henry Alcantara, 68,000 pesos, pero bilang Henry Alcantara lamang yan. Ang mas malaking bulto ng kanyang talo habang nagtatago sa kanyang alias na Joseph Castro Villegas ay tumataginting na 36.7 million pesos in gross losses. Project Engineer RJ Dumasig alias Sandro Bernardo Park na may gross losses na 16.9 million at Edric San Diego as himself na may losses na 42.4 million pesos.
The top 15 contractors reportedly at the center of massive government contract kickbacks. They are now under intense scrutiny and will soon face serious legal consequences. 1. Legacy Construction Corporation. Owner, Alex Abelido. 2. Alpha and Omega General Contractor and Development Corporation. Owner, Cesara Rowena, Sarah Discaya. 3rd St. Timothy Construction Corporation. Owner, Maria Roma Angeline Rimando. 4. QM Builders. Owner, Alan Carante. 5. EGB Construction Corporation. Owner, Ernie Bagao. 6. Top Notch Catalyst Builders Incorporated. Owner, Yumir Villanueva. 7. Centerways Construction and Development Incorporated. Owner, Lawrence Lubiano. 8. SunWest Incorporated. Owner, Aderma Angeli Alcazar. 9. High Tone Construction and Development Corporation. Owner, Edgar Acosta. 10. 888 Construction and Supply Incorporated. Owner, Wilfredo Natividad. 11. Royal Crown Monarch Construction and Supplies Corporation. Owner, Romeo Miranda. 12. Wawao Builders. Owner, Mark Allen Arevalo. 13. MG Samidan Construction. Owner, Marjorie Samidan. 14. LR Tiki Builders Incorporated. Owner, Luisito Tiki. 15. Road Edge Trading and Development Services. Owner, Ryan Willie Uy. And these are the other contractors also implicated in the flood control project corruption. They are now under investigation and are very likely to face legal charges and jail time. 16. Siam's Construction Trading. Owner, Sally Santos. Allegation, implicated in flood control project anomalies, including 245 million pesos withdrawn in 2025 for project-related expenses. Blacklisted by DPWH for ghost projects in Bulacan. 17. MBB Global Properties Corporation. President, Macy Monique Maglanque. Allegation, linked to flood control project irregularities. Investigators recalled her for questioning over alleged involvement. 18. MBB Global Properties Corporation. Corporate Secretary, Sunshine Bernardo. Allegation, part of MBB Global Properties, implicated in project anomalies, linked to former DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo. 19. MBB Global Properties Corporation. Treasurer, Fatima Gay Bonoan de la Cruz. Allegation, part of MBB Global Properties, implicated in project irregularities. Linked to former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan. And finally, we turn to 9 other figures tied to this growing controversy. They come from different backgrounds, but share one thing in common: their names appearing in reports and testimonies on alleged fund misuse. As conduits, officials, or local leaders, each now faces serious questions about their role and accountability. 1. Maynard Ngu, businessman, CEO of Cosmic Technologies, Cherry Mobile. Allegations: reportedly acted as a conduit for Senator Francis Chiz Escudero, allegedly handling 160 million pesos in kickbacks. 2. Antonieta Eudela, named conduit via spouse, cited in media coverage as a possible link in fund transfers tied to questionable public works contracts. Reports have associated her name with figures accused of facilitating payoffs and serving as channels for misappropriated infrastructure funds. Trey Trigve Olaivar, Education Undersecretary. Allegations: accused by former DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo of demanding a 15% cut from 2.85 billion pesos in government projects. The claim suggests a scheme of commissions and kickbacks within public contracts. 4. Mario Lupana, Commission on Audit Commissioner. Allegations: his wife, Marilu Lorio Lupana, reportedly heads a firm that has secured government contracts. This raised serious conflict of interest concerns and linked the couple to 1.4 billion pesos in alleged budget insertions. 5. Rene Maglanque, Mayor of Candaba, Pampanga. Affiliations: former president of Global Crete Builders, currently heads MBB Global Properties Corporation. Allegations: a self-proclaimed tycoon who boasts of his immense wealth and sprawling businesses across the country, including the 1 billion peso Wyndham Garden Hotel in Clark. He's tied to 2.195 billion pesos in flood control contracts funneled to a company he once led. 6th, Lito Aniñon, Mayor of Tungawan, Zamboanga, Sibugay. Allegations: the Discayas alleged that Eudela and her husband, Tungawan Mayor Lito Aniñon, received as much as 25% in commissions from contracts coursed through their district. 7. Carlene Villa, former aide to Senator Nancy Binay, allegedly sought a 15% cut from DPWH projects on Binay's behalf, with reports claiming she helped channel millions in kickbacks from public works funds. 8. John Paul Estrada, aide linked to Representative Zaldico, named in testimonies as one of those who received cash deliveries from DPWH engineers involved in the flood control kickback scheme. 9. Mark Texai, associate of Representative Zaldi Company, reportedly acted as a conduit for transferring kickback money between DPWH contacts and political recipients.
Yung po naging testimony natin.
Una-una, nagpapasalamat ako sa ICI. I'm very glad that I was invited to the ICI to share my personal knowledge on the budget process. And of course, any information about the insertions on the flood control. That is the basis of my invitation.
The revelations you've just seen pull back the curtain on one of the most brazen displays of corruption in recent memory. From powerful senators and congressmen to wealthy contractors, DPWH officials, and local executives, every name tells a story of greed, deceit, and betrayal of the people's trust. Billions meant to protect communities from floods were instead funneled into private pockets, while ordinary Filipinos continue to suffer from the very problems these projects were supposed to fix. But the truth is now out. The investigations are closing in, and for many of those involved, time is running out. Because in the end, no position, no fortune, and no political alliance can shield the corrupt forever. Justice, though delayed, is inevitable. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more updates.